Two guys of Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Write this down. Write it down. You like writing things down.
The OG edition of Write That Down. A segment that started back on the old 1500 ESPN radio show. And here we are, like a decade later, still making predictions and holding each other accountable with statistics like absolute idiots. So we'll go through the accountability session here. We'll make our predictions, and we'll get to all of the fun here. But first, a shout out to Federated Insurance. So Federated Insurance, every year, they help put on the Federated Challenge supporting Big Brothers Big Sisters. This is the 21st annual one this summer. It's a 2-day gala and golf fundraising event that's raised over $57 million for youth mentoring since 2005, and 100% of that money goes directly to Big Brothers Big Sisters and the Federated Challenge Scholarship Program. So the gala is July 27th at St. Paul River Center, and then the golf event is the next day at Hazeltine National. You can visit federatedchallenge.org to become a sponsor, federatedchallenge.org. The Twins need to get back home, by the way. I think they just need to get back to Target Field to start winning some games. And tickets are available, Dex.
Yeah, twins.com right now. There's the all-new My Twins memberships. This include benefits, ticket flexibility, and year-round access like never before, plus the 612 Saturdays, $6 drinks, $1 snacks, $2 foods. Plus, if you're roaming around the Thrivent Club and you see Judd and I, you can just come say hello. We usually always give a nice wave back and say hello back. So twins.com to learn more and get those tickets.
That's accurate. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. What's
Judd
going
with
on?
Judd with
Enjoy
his,
the game. That's my favorite. Enjoy the
popcorn,
game.
Hey,
trail mix.
You enjoy the game.
You enjoy the game.
Popcorn, trail mix, all the fun stuff.
Trail mix. Yeah, that's good stuff.
The trail mix is, man. I was in there for every Twins game for like 3 or 4 years at the beginning of Target Field, and I am so glad that they didn't have the trail mix built into that press box. I would have 19 bowls of that every single day of my life. It's very addicting.
I don't like I don't like trail mix per se, but I do like the Gordetto's ride chip things that are those to me.
You pick those out individually.
Deadly, absolutely deadly to me. I can eat a whole bag of just the ride chips.
Trail
Do
mix
they? I think they sell.
Yeah, they do.
Sell bags of just the. Okay.
Yep, they do. I bought them numerous times. They're delicious.
Write this down.
That's a nice ad read for him.
Yeah, you're welcome. Twins.com.
Yeah.
Twins.com.
Okay, enough of this awkward Minnesota small talk here. Let's get down to the business. So here's how Write That Down works. It's 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs. And listeners, if you want to participate like Chills is about to, you can send Declan a message through that Score North app. We'll try to get you scheduled for the coming weeks here. Let's start with Judd. 2 things came off the board for the Juddmeister. You said Scotty Scheffler would win the U.S. Open. What's funny is
he was in it.
Everyone melted
fashion.
down so aggressively that he, with a few holes to go, it was like, oh my God, if he birdies a couple holes here, he might have a shot.
But his putting was so bad.
It was pretty brutal. Yeah, it's a frustrating course. And then you said the Twins would acquire or sign a pitcher before July 1st. Joey Wentz.
Joey Wentz, come on down. Pitched last night. Pitched last night again.
Couple nice little a couple outings, I guess, for Joey Wentz. Yeah.
They
nice
were
little couple outings.
Yeah. The first one was awful.
Yeah.
So Judd goes 1 for 2. All right, I had 2 predictions come off the board. I said the 10th U.S. Open at Oakmont, and at no other Oakmont U.S. Open had anyone shot a winning score of -6 or better. And I said we're going to set a new record. And man, it was the opposite of that. It was everybody over par until the very end. It's a disaster. But I also said the Twins, we could debate the word meaningful, but I did put parameters on it.
Yeah, I know.
I said the Twins will make a meaningful trade before the trade deadline. And then it's like, well, how do you define meaningful? We need to quantify it. And I said, how about a position player with at least 500 plate appearances, or a pitcher who's played in at least 90 regular season games? I was thinking more starter, 3+ seasons. Well, Joey Wentz, 97 career games for old Joey Wentz.
Joey Wentz saved the day.
This is how you backdoor a prediction in embarrassing, aggressive fashion. Yeah.
Me too.
Okay, listeners, Mike said the Gophers football team, this should have come off the board 2 months ago, but the Gophers football team would have 6 players drafted in this last year's draft. It was only 3, but there was a bunch of guys who made practice squads or I guess off-season rosters as UDFAs like Max Brosmer. But that one's wrong. And then Declan said the winner of the Open, the U.S. Open, would shoot between -5 and -9. So with that, pretty tightly contested here. The season runs from Super Bowl to Super Bowl. So we're not quite halfway through, but I'm batting 271, Judd 269, Declan 255, listeners 234. All of us have 3 home runs, so it's very tightly contested. And then career stats going back to 2018, Declan leads the pack with a 342 average. Judd is 23 points behind that. Everyone else is a mile behind. Judd's the hit king, 367 career hits. Can he collect his 400th career hit this season?
Yep.
It's the chase for 400.
I'm Pete Rose. And I'm betting I can.
And then listeners have 73 career home runs, which is tops in that category. So there it is, the accountabilities. Let's get Chills in here for the YouTube audience. You'll see he's repping the Flagger and Howells brand on that TV behind him.
He's got the shirt on,
the
too.
Western Conference Finals. Is that from this year or last year? I can't remember. There's so many trips to the Western Conference.
That's a nasty wolf, man. That's a nasty wolf, too. Look at that.
Yeah. That is.
He's not kidding around. He's going to take a bite out of you.
It looks like that wolf is wearing a retainer, actually.
It's a teenage wolf. He's got some bad teeth.
He's growing up.
Exactly right. Don't pick on him.
So, Chills, give us your background as a Wolves fan, as a Minnesota sports fan.
Ooh, man, I'm 31. I'm only 31. I've been a fan since I was 23 years old. For 22 years, I'm sorry. For 22 years, I've been a Minnesota fan. And I've never met another Timberwolves fan in person. Like,
so where do you live?
New York City.
Okay.
And born and raised. And I went from Allen Iverson to Kevin Garnett as a favorite player, like early 2000s. And I stayed. I never once thought to leave. Through the Troy Hudsons, through the Johnny Flynn's, Mark Madsen.
Wow.
Everybody.
You know what?
That is wild.
That's incredible.
Wayne Ellington, everybody, you know.
So you jumped in, Wayne Ellington. You jumped in, and you caught like the last few years of the KG era.
Yes.
And then KG, and as a KG fan to start with, right?
Yes.
And then KG leaves.
Yes.
And you had a chance
to
blank canvas as a fan. You're like in your teens. You're like 15.
Yeah.
And you could have jumped to Boston.
But you know what? In New York, as people follow all these trends and they follow LeBron everywhere, and every I just felt like it identified with me because it's like I'm not a follower. Loyalty is in me, not on me. Like, I don't know. And I love the team. Like, yeah, we were horrible, but I loved the team. Like Randy Foy, everybody. You know how it is.
Was there ever a point?
No, I don't. But congratulations, dude. I have mad respect for you right now. I don't know.
Well, what was the Knicks? What
yeah.
Well, yeah. So when they made that trade initially, back in October, because you live in New York and you're a diehard Wolves fan, what were your initial thoughts?
Initially I was upset. But I had a lot of family member and friends that were telling me, "Oh, you're gonna love Julius. You're gonna love Julius," and now they started texting me thank yous in the playoffs when Cat was performing, how he was performing. But I think at the end they were like, "How do you like Julius being your number 2 now?" But I liked it. I mean, he honestly showed us a lot more. Everybody. I like the way he started playmaking. Like everybody knows when he came back from the injury. But unfortunately, I think we're gonna trade Dante. But I don't want to because, like you always say, Mackey, he's a high energy guy. Like I think he could get it together. I don't want to trade him, but.
Yeah. The Dante thing is, man, I thought he was going to be so much better during the regular season. I thought he was going to be a great running mate next to Anthony Edwards and Jay McDaniels, and he's got some chemistry with Julius Randle. And it clicked for like 3 months there, around like February, March, kind of January, and he was cooking from 3.
Yes.
And but man, DiVincenzo in the playoffs was a disaster, and
you just thought it was gonna get better every game, and it didn't. It hurt. I thought this was gonna be a different conversation we were gonna be having, but you know what? We got to have real conversations. this summer. And I'm not gonna lie, Judd helped me because I was mad after the loss, but he said, no, we can't answer this Finch talk after an emotional loss like that. We gotta wait till clearer heads prevail. And after time goes by, I'm like, yeah, gotta relax. Gotta relax.
Yeah. I'm not on the fire, Finch. Like, he might not have certainly had a great coaching experience or presentation in the Western Conference Finals, but I would if you fire him, as we asked at the time, who are you going to go get? Who's going to be an upgrade? Like, just for sure an upgrade. And because I think Chris Finch does a lot of things well.
Yeah, well, and they had, and again, they clearly love him. Not that there's not things to get better at or poke at here and there, but he is one of the better coaches, chemistry builders, culture guys. Like, he's done a great job. But if they were on the fence and they were trying to decide, man, we have to make a tough decision and fire him. But they had an out because the New York Knicks were going around calling these teams and saying, like, hey, can we hire your coach? Can we interview your coach? So they actually may have had a chance to get draft capital for Chris Finch, and they like him enough to say no to even exploring that, which is interesting.
I heard the Knicks call Sports Dad to see if they could interview him.
What are they doing? Like, this is so embarrassing. They're literally called 6 teams and said, hey, we'd like to talk to your coach.
And then they circle back to Mike Brown. It's like, okay, all due respect, but Mike Brown's been 19 different places for 20 years.
Mark Jackson, I hear Mark Jackson everybody's talking about.
Man.
I could see that.
Well, you know what, Mark, it's funny because we never got to see. I have a dumb question. Did Mark Jackson get another head coaching job after he was fired from Golden State? Or was that his last? Because we saw him. It's possible he was just a little bit. If you gave him another year or two, I mean, they went to Kerr and they became a dynasty. But anyways, let's make some predictions here. Chills, we'll start with you, and then we'll go over to Judd, Dex, back to me. 3 trips around the room. Here we go.
Write this down.
Chills.
All right, I know it's Finch, but I'm gonna give him faith. All right, Lenny's gonna get in the rotation somehow this year, even if it's some light role player minutes, because I've seen his progression, over time. It's like Nas. It's kind of similar, not the same body, but just the progression. The second prediction, I was gonna say, I think Finch stays.
Hold on. Are you making? Is this all part of one, or is this your?
Nah. It's three.
Is it? You have 3 total predictions, or are you making a parlay here? 3 in 1.
3 predictions.
Okay, so let's stop after. So you're saying Leonard Miller will be in the rotation.
Yes, somehow he would crack in that rotation somehow.
I think that'll be we'll know it when we see it. Like if Leonard Miller plays a few games in a row or something, we'll know.
That's a hope. That's it's a hope more than anything.
He's super talented. I mean, I think there's they've been working on his jump shot a lot, just kind of behind the scenes, but he can rebound. He can get out in transition. I think the question is defense. There were some questions about that in Iowa for old Lenny, but he's a super talented dude. So okay, we'll come back around the room to your second prediction shortly here, Chills. Judd, what is your first prediction?
All right, I'm going to make a wild prediction. Free agency starts July 1st. The center market it's not great, and the Wild desperately need one. They could trade for one, but instead write this down. They will sign John Tavares, who has been with Toronto. They will sign him to a free agent contract.
Wow. Johnny
He wants
Tavares,
to go back to Toronto. Toronto is supposedly, though, tepid. They're like, well, we'll take you back, but at this salary, he's flat out going to have better offers. He is going to get a chance to play here. He's an older player, but he's coming off a really good season.
It's too old.
Puts up a lot of goals, puts up points. John Tavares will be a Minnesota Wild.
He's only 6 goals away from his 500th career NHL goal, by the way.
Yep. I think
sneaky career.
Off the record, I think it's like a 3-year contract or something, but they definitely need somebody. And I think he is probably going to find out Toronto is not going to pay him what he wants.
And one of the great New York Islanders of all time, John
Islander
Tavares.
fans hate that guy. Left.
New Yorkers don't even speak on the Islanders. They're like, they're range it out.
Yep, exactly right. Blue shirts, baby.
Blue shirts.
All right, Dex, what's your first prediction?
Write this down. Rudy Gobert will be traded before the start of the regular season. I think we've seen the last of Rudy.
Forgive me, but yes.
Yeah, I like Rudy. I like Rudy. He's this weird punching bag and lightning rod, but I think they've maxed out the tenure here, and thank you for your service hashtag, but I think he's done here. I think he goes somewhere else.
Basketball is a team sport, and there's a bunch of different things that need to be sort of blended together to form a championship. But I think there are some guys in the NBA that are definitively floor raisers, and Rudy Gobert is one of those. If you have Rudy Gobert on your team and he plays 60, 70 games, you're not going 20 and 62. You're going to play enough defense and you're going to be competitive. But as we saw with the Jazz, with the Timberwolves, you have to be better offensively at certain high leverage spots. But then there's other guys like Drew Holiday. We've seen certain players who, if you add them to your team, they are like a final piece to a championship puzzle over the years. So I wonder if the Wolves maybe move on from Rudy going into his mid-30s, both in age and also with his new contract, $35 million contract, and just try to find that piece that gets him over the edge. So you're out on Rudy, Chills, it sounds like.
Man, I feel like I loved him when we got him. I knew what he was gonna do. I knew he did what I knew he was gonna do, which, like you said, raised our defensiveness a lot, our defense proud a lot. But I want to say my group chat kills me with this Rudy Gobert because I try to defend him so much, and then I gotta watch him, and then it's like, yeah.
It's hard, because I've been
so
a Rudy
good.
Gobert defender and stan here too. It's like, no, it's the things that don't show up in the box score, which is
It's
true.
great. Yeah, it's
and
great.
then as you're defending him, it's like somebody will throw him a pocket bounce pass and he fumbles it out of bounds. He's like, okay, yeah, I can't defend that. Sorry.
He's been an absolute key, though, to getting them to being a very respectable, good, solid playoff team, though. So, and you know what? Some guys, that's what they do. So I think if and when he's traded, there's going to be talk about, well, they didn't win a championship. And yes, that's true. But I think when you look at a guy like that, he took them from being a non-playoff team, and he raised the water level defensively by an absolute ton.
In fairness, they were a 46-win playoff team without him. But he came in, and then they took a dip actually his first year. But he helped them get to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row.
Exactly.
So okay, I have a Wolves one here too.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
I actually have multiple Wolves ones. Shocking, but the Timberwolves will have at least two different players in their starting lineup opening night compared to opening night of a year. So opening night a year ago is Gobert, Julius, Jaden, Ant, and Conley. I'm saying at least two new players in that starting lineup for opening night. Write it down.
Off the record? Who are they?
There's been so many.
Oh, come on. Just give us a off the record.
I think they're still very much in the KD mix, and I think KD would come around on his fear of cold weather. But there's a bunch of other Plan B, Plan C, Plan D out there. Chills.
Can we have a little moment real quick with the KDs? I know we said that we don't want him. I heard John say we don't want him if he doesn't want to come, right? But the Suns are saying we might still have the best package. So how do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about this on Flagrant Howl's cheap plug. Thank you for promoting on your screen there. But yeah, the latest steam from Phoenix. So there's an afternoon drive show. I think there's still an afternoon drive, but Burns and Gambo. And Gambo is very plugged into the Suns organization. And every day he's had new reporting on their radio show. And the latest was that the Wolves do have the most appealing trade offer. And it centers around Rudy Gobert, Dante DiVincenzo, and there's some conflicting information about whether Dillingham is involved and or maybe the 17th overall pick. That's where you start to lose me. It's like, all right, if it's Gobert and DiVincenzo, maybe a third thing, but then it gets to be really expensive and steep for the age 37 season of Kevin Durant.
Yeah, we got to let Rob see what he can do. Give him a chance, something. Give him a chance.
But, man, KD is still one of the top offensive players in the league. And if you can make it happen without gutting your nucleus.
You make it happen, yeah.
So
he hasn't averaged under 25 points since his rookie year.
Yeah, and it's not like Kobe at the end post Achilles where it's like, all right, he's averaging 25 points on 72 shots. It's very efficient.
The other day, I heard you say Nick Claxton, and now I can't get it out of my head. I'm like, wow, that would look good.
Yeah, he's not quite the defensive presence that Rudy is, but also Rudy's aging, and Rudy's not the same defensive presence he was 2 or 3 years ago. and it's not like Claxton is this like incredible offensive player, but Claxton can like dribble up the floor. And Claxton maybe doesn't have the best hands, but like better than Rudy's hands.
But they're not mallets.
So, yeah. Totally.
Write this down.
I think we're back to Chills for your second prediction.
Oh, second prediction. I think to somebody take mine. I said that Dante gets traded, but they said, the Dante gets traded.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
You know, it's like his contract is so team friendly, which is where I get a little. It's like $12 million a year this year and next year. But,
yeah, you could get that off.
But he can't. You can't really start him at point guard.
Why not? We had a moment where we did it and it worked.
There was a stretch during
February, January, February. Oh yeah, injuries. That's why. Oh, yeah.
Conley was out, right?
Yeah, Conley was out. Randall was out. And him and Ant looked good next to each other.
Dante, though, here's why I'd like him back for at least a season. The dude has been traded so much. And like he got traded, I think he was clearly impacted by the timing of that trade, right?
Yeah, he was.
I would love to see a DiVincenzo season where it's stable. And the thing, too, is he was terrible in the playoffs here in the spring, but a year ago for the Knicks in the playoffs, he was lights out money. So, like, it's not like he's a classic playoff choker. So I would really like to see him just get a year in a stable environment, knowing that when he goes to training camp, he's going to be playing for the team he thinks he's going to be playing for.
He was also essentially a full-time starter on that Bucks team that won the championship 5 years ago, and he started in the first round and then got hurt, and they went on to win the championship without him. But he's been an integral piece to a couple different interesting playoff teams. 3 now, I guess, if you count this year's team. So, okay.
Write it down. You like writing
Judd.
things down.
All right, I'm going to pivot to a Twins write that down.
Pivot.
In light of what, the bad start, the great 14-2 run, 13 consecutive wins, and now a terrible stretch of baseball, it's this simple. Willie Castro will be traded by the deadline.
Yeah, I think you sell high on that expiring contract, red hot
It's
bat, right?
It's not working. I mean, and not for him, but for the team. It's not working.
Baseball IQ there, too, with Willie. It's been killing me the last week.
What happened last night? And I know it didn't cost them. And Provis melted down.
Yeah,
it was
Provis
glorious.
was pissed.
But what happened there? It's a double play ball. He literally just ate the ball.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
How's Minnesota looking this year? Twins.
Well, they've scored a run in the last 4 days.
Oh no!
Although your Bombers ain't exactly tearing it up right now.
We started hot. We started hot with the big bats. We started hot.
Dude, the Yankees, the Yankees haven't scored a run since Friday, and it's Wednesday right now.
And they're playing the Angels right now.
Is that at home?
Yeah, it is at home.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nasty. That's nasty.
Write it down. You like writing
All right,
things
Dex,
down.
what's your second prediction?
Write this down. So the Twins have lost 7 consecutive one-run games. They're now 7-13. I think that before this, obviously, they were okay in one-run games. But they will win. Write this down. They will win their next one-run game.
Okay.
We're going to break the streak here.
Yeah.
Wow.
They've lost 7 in a row.
14-13. I want to see a just a crazy game.
Emilio Pagan closing out last night's game might have been the cherry on top of the season.
Walking the ballpark and
then
classic Pagan.
Getting the save.
Walk around.
All right, another Wolves prediction here. I'm gonna align with Chills on this one. Rob Dillingham. I don't know where he's gonna be playing the first game of the season. Maybe it's the Timberwolves. Maybe he's starting.
Don't do this to Chill.
Maybe he's playing for the Suns. Maybe he's playing for somebody else. But Rob Dillingham will score at least 15 points on opening night.
Oh, put that on the parlay.
15 points on opening night. I think he's going to be. I've already seen some videos of him getting in the best shape of his life this offseason.
And the Suns win or lose that game.
I'll make that prediction next week. I'll have some numbers on there. Yeah.
Write this down.
Okay, back to Chills for your third and final prediction.
All right, so like I said, if Anthony Edwards develops a post game, drives more, I think we're looking at an MVP season. I mean, it's not like he can't. I think he plays team ball a lot. And I mean, I love it, but there's a time where Kobe Bryant just knew, like, I'm in the gym. I see you in the gym. I'm not giving you the ball at this moment. Like, I love the fact that he's getting more assists, getting out the double, but, you know, you can't go into halftime in the playoffs with on single-digit field goal attempts and all that. And come on, that's the savior of the franchise. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going.
Wow, dude, look at that poster.
You know,
Just murdering. Is that
it's
John
just
Collins? I love
yeah,
the Jen.
Yeah.
it was John Collins. I don't know who it is now.
Yeah, R.I.P. John Collins.
But yeah, my group chat, they love to troll me because I've been trolled for like 20 years. Oh, the Timberwolves, and now we're good. So you can imagine I talk crazy in that group chat. But when we lose, and that the way we lost, I'm not mad at us losing. You know, it's the way we lost. And I think that's the reason we even call an easy money sniper, because we weren't high on him. I think as this high on him before the playoffs ended. We were like, you know, 38. We're not really giving up these young guys for a rental KD contract. But then the way we went out, so we had to call easy money something because but back to my prediction, I believe in a certain mentality. I've seen a switch flip in the last couple of months. The IQ, the game could slow down for him a little bit, and I believe it's an MVP season if he definitely develops if he learns how to play with his back to the basket.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of funny. The Rockets, like 10 years ago, when James Harden broke out as the scoring leader in the NBA, and it was like, oh my gosh, James Harden and the Rockets have analytically eliminated 2-point jump shots because the math says, the math nerds, the statistical analysis
analytics
that you should only take threes and layups, which sounds great. Yeah, in a perfect world, if you can somehow only get open threes and layups or whatever, that's great. But look at now how it's kind of filled in the last 10 years. KD, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jason Tatum. Like, there's guys that have great, not as much Tatum as those other two guys, but great mid-range games. And go back to some of the other great players. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, you brought those guys up. Allen Iverson, like, those guys are mid-range specialists. And Anthony Edwards is not a great mid-range player. But if he can, as they're throwing, you know, blitzes and double teams at him off these pick and rolls, you know what SGA does? He turns his back at the three-point line. He backs up the truck, especially if there's a smaller defender on him because he's lanky, 6'6", and he just does
wiggles by you.
The easiest turnaround fadeaway from 16 feet. Cash, if Ant can develop that.
He's so slick.
It's game over.
Yeah. But I think, honestly, I don't want to backtrack on it, but for him to win MVP, he's going to have to even do more than that because they give him a lot of – he has so much. They know he's great, so all this expectation from him. So it's like consistent scoring, rebounding more, assisting more. I don't know if that necessarily gets it. I think it's going to be him scoring consistently, making smart decisions, and the Timberwolves just being a better team, you know, because last year we were like this. So maybe if we can get back to the year before and be a constant, he's one of the best two. I think, the best two-way in the league.
Yeah, I mean, when he locks it in on defense, yeah, SGA would probably raise his hand and say, I'm pretty good two-way too. But Chills, this has been awesome, man. Awesome having you on the show.
Listen.
Since you've got this life-altering platform right now Write That Down, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out or talk trash to right now?
Oh, man. I don't even want to give the haters any name and nothing like that. But, you know, my man's, you know, shout out Dre, Royal Family, BTB. But all the people that talk junk, I shout out you guys. I don't want to talk about the naysayers. Shout out you guys. Declan, Phil, Judd, Sports Dad. You know, I've never met a Timberwolves fan in person. So when I turn on you guys, I could be anywhere. I could be on the go. I could be in the house. It's like, oh, they understand. Like, it really is refreshing. And you guys motivate me to even start doing a platform and speaking about my experiences being a Timberwolves fan for this long from New York and stuff like that. So I want to thank you guys, honestly, like straight up and down. And the Timberwolves, Connolly, you know what I'm saying? Fitch, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mike Conley for coming back another year. I thought it was over, you know? I mean, he maybe could be all you Udonis Haslam.
I mean, he's not going to give that $10 million back unless they kick him off the team. It's a smart move by Mike. I can wait a year to retire. I'll take that $10 million and be an assistant coach, basically.
Yeah, you know, shout out to the hating fans, Dallas fans, and I got a lot of people, man. But most importantly, shout out to Flagrant House, man. It wouldn't be possible without y'all.
Thanks,
Thank you, Chills. Appreciate. I got chills listening to Chills.
That's
Talking
what
about the Timberwolves.
that's why they called me that. AE man, AE. Hey, what's the other reporter name? Dane Wolfson or something?
Darren Doogie Wolfson.
Yeah. He used to come at me on Twitter with my takes.
Wait, Doogie used to come at people on
No,
Twitter.
that never happens on Twitter.
What?
No.
Alert the authorities. Doogie's being mean to people on Twitter.
He probably didn't like what I said because I used to be heavy on the Trey Cat train, like heavy.
Well, so are we.
It's so bad. My Knicks friends.
He would come at me for that. And it was like, Doogie.
I
buddy.
offered the exact trade we made, but without the Dante and the pick. I was like, yo, let's just Randall and Towns. Call it a wash.
Yeah.
You're upset, I'm upset, and it happened. So, but yeah, shout out to y'all, man. That's all I would say, man.
Chills, we'll definitely do it again with you sometime. Good luck with your predictions.
Mid-season or something, with the season start or something, man.
Let's do it.
Let's tap in.
Enjoy the next few weeks. Chaos, reckless speculation season.
I want to come out there for a game for real. I never been to the Mecca for the Mecca. I always watch y'all when y'all come out here.
Mecca is definitely a one word to describe Target Center.
I call it the Mecca. They said
dump is another Chills.
My cousins always say, you live by the Madison Square Garden and you have the nerve to call Target Center the Mecca. I say, it's when I walk in, I'm going to feel all the love and I'm going to see Jordan Don. I'm going to be like, yo, what's up?
And you're gonna see a very antiquated, outdated arena that hopefully Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lurie can privately finance a new one, but that's another talker.
We get a new one, man.
Chills,
listen, y'all,
awesome,
y'all
dude.
do your thing. Y'all do your thing. I love.
See you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, before we get to our final predictions here, gentlemen, hey, it's golf season. It's golf season. Meadows at Mystic is a place to go get your hacks in, Dex.
That's right. You can hack it up like me. You can be, breaking 80. You can. They welcome all levels of golf there, and it's going to be a hot one, a sweltering one. I personally like to golf in the heat. Okay, so no matter what the temperature is, golfthemeadows.com to go book that next tee time. Whether you're coming into town, it's about 30 minutes south of the Twin Cities here. So go to golfthemeadows.com to secure that tee time. They have the GPS carts. They have a great pro shop. They have an elite experience there. So go to golfthemeadows.com to book that tee time.
Legit Pizza is an elite experience too.
Roll the
That's
boat.
right. Roll the boat.
Go, Pep.
Skyma, eat legit pizza. Stone baked, cracker thin crust, zesty tomato sauce. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll open up the actual pizza oven. And from my experience, I like it a little bit crispy on top and on the bottom. So 16 minutes in the pizza oven, and you have a perfectly cooked, delicious, legit pizza that you should cut into squares like a good Minnesotan too. You can find legit frozen pizza in a grocery store near you and have an authentic at-home pizza parlor experience. And thanks to Dennis Kirk for powering these predictions here on the OG edition of Write That Down. Dennis Kirk is your home for riding season. Over 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories for motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, same-day shipping. I see Crunch riding around on some of these, like ATVs. You see Ragnar, or Victor, I guess. Ragnar doesn't really... He's like gone because he demanded too much.
It's all
money,
Victor
right?
now.
It's all Victor.
Yeah. Big contract dispute with Ragnar.
But, free shipping on orders over $89. And if you place an order by 6 p.m. Central Time, they'll ship it the same day. Go to DennisKirk.com. That's DennisKirk.com.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, Judd. By the way, I think it's so cool when we get, whether it's on Purple Daily or Mackey and Judd or really any of the shows, Flagrant Howls, Twin Show, when you get fans who are just, like, they're not from Minnesota and they somehow became a Vikings fan, or in Chill's case, became a KG fan and stuck with, ordinarily you would just follow that player to a new team, I guess. But he said, no, I'm good with Alexi Shved and Wes Johnson. I'm going to stick this thing out for 15 years. But they don't have any friends where they live that are fans of that team. And so it's like these podcasts and YouTube channels and Spotify, Apple and stuff become the community for those displaced Minnesota sports fans. I just think that's cool.
And how about Chills, who's not old, being a KG fan, living by the Garden, and living through all of that. Like, it's not just a blip where, the Wolves were bad for 4 or 5 years, but then, like, he literally put up with, 13 consecutive non-playoff appearances. The end of KG was not great, necessarily. Like, it's one thing to be a Vikings fan, because, as we've talked about, the Vikings are always pretty good. Once in a while they'll have a complete stinker, but not often. But I think to stick with the Minnesota Timberwolves living in Manhattan might be one of the most remarkable stories.
Yeah, and the Knicks could have done him a service by being a little more interesting. They had Carmelo Anthony for a couple minutes, but
no, you're right.
they were mostly not that great either over that period.
And it looks like they're back to trying to be not be good.
Just
since they're
classic,
inquiring, hey, can I talk to your coach? How about your coach?
Classic.
He's employed by us. Okay. All right, write this down.
James Dolan.
I'm actually going to go back to baseball. Global perspective, though, not just the Twins. The Cubs will win the World Series.
Oh,
Wow.
I love the Cubs. The Cubs are going to make a deal. I love the Cubs. The Cubs are going to make a deal at the deadline. I feel it, to get more pitching. They have been fantastic. Pete Crow Armstrong's going to make a legitimate run, at least at MVP. I mean, he has been phenomenal.
One of the great hyphenated athletes in America.
Yes, and the real life son of the mom from Little Big League, the Twins one, right? Was that correct? So the mom on that movie is Pete Crow Armstrong's real mom.
Oh, really?
Yep.
yes.
Interesting.
That's really his mother.
Okay. That's a great piece of baseball cinematic trivia right there.
I think Judd brought it up like a month or two ago, and he was like, "It's weird," and he looks exactly like his mom. It's like, I think it's all the genetics work there.
Crazy.
Yeah,
He looks exactly. Well, I mean, you don't have to look exactly like your parent. He does, but anyway, the Cubs will win. This is a long way of saying the Cubs are going to win the World Series.
Yeah. I mean, it's only happened once since 1908. So let's stack those titles. Go Cubs, go.
Write this down.
All right, Dex.
I write this down. The Twins will trade or release a player from their 26-man roster between now and July 4th. And by the way, he must be released completely out of the organization. So if he's outrighted to like AAA and still in the system, this doesn't count. I'm saying they're going to trade a player or just get rid of a player who's currently on their 26-man roster between now and July 4th.
Okay.
Write it down.
Okay.
Off the record, you got any predictions?
I wonder if I would love for them if this continues to start selling. So, Danny Coulomb, maybe like the Cody Clemens thing isn't working out too well. So we'll see.
Told you, Declan. We tried to tell you. Phil and I
About Cody
tell you.
Clemens.
Yeah, he had a great run.
Works out. He did.
It was
a nice little run.
He provided way more than anyone could have thought or expected, and it's no longer his fault. He's like, guys, I gave you a month of awesome hitting.
He will be a great random twin like next year,
next
the
week.
Year after.
Yep.
He's now with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Tomorrow. Okay, final prediction here, and
Write it down. You like writing things
it includes the Wolves, but ultimately this is a 6-team parlay that I'm going to go for here. I think we're going to get, because there's only one team with like meaningful cap space. So the way by which teams are going to acquire new talent is through trades. And a lot of those trades can't happen without multiple teams and facilitators and things. We're going to get chaos in the next few weeks in the NBA. So write this down. You clickbait chaos.
I don't like chaos. Can we keep everyone where they are right now? I'm used to it.
So these 6 teams will all be involved in 3-team or more trades. Maybe all of them in the same one. I don't know how that's going to work. But I'm saying these 6 teams will be involved in a 3-team or more trade before July 31st. Timberwolves, Nets, Bulls, Suns, Spurs, Celtics.
Okay.
All 6 of those teams are going to get crazy with 3 or 4 or 5 team trades.
Very nice.
They will be involved in some way. It might be 3 separate trades. It might be one trade that involves the Wolves, Suns, Nets, and Bulls, and then another one that involves the Spurs and Celtics. I don't know. But they're all going to be involved in multi-way trades. Write it down.
Write this down.
So there you go, boys. You write that down. Predictions, the OG edition. I think Chills was one of my favorite recent write that down guests, too.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Just bringing it, man.
Brought up Wayne Ellington. Watching Wayne Ellington, Johnny Flynn. I was hoping for a Rashad McCants reference by the end of that.
He has never
okay.
met a fellow Timberwolves fan. Think about that for a second.
Yeah. Well,
Makes sense.
there's like a generation of people that even like based in Minnesota are like, I don't know. But the last few years they've definitely regrown that fan base.
No, stop. This is not a basketball town, okay? It's the state of hockey, Phil. Nobody here likes basketball. That's all I know.
We need to stop with. I feel like we need a pause on the state of hockey stuff until they get to the second round of the playoffs minimum. Then you can have it back on a year by year, case by case basis.
What is the deal too? And this is what drives me crazy with this constant fighting during the finals. Oh, the hockey, the Stanley Cup, you'll never equal that. Basketball will never. And then basketball fans are like, our finals, they both can be good.
Yeah, there is like a weird.
Fight.
There's a weird territorialism between you're either a basketball fan or a hockey fan, and you can't be both. You must choose a side. It's like, I don't know,
And they both have cool things. Like, they both have really cool things. The Stanley Cup being awarded to players is really, really cool. That's a great thing. But the NBA Finals has some really cool things too. I don't get it. It's just it's this weird like territorial, as you said.
Yeah, it's like sports league tribalism or something. Yeah. Sports trophy tribalism.
Get that out of here.
I tweeted it last night, but if I could time travel back to the 91 Cup Finals when the North Stars were in it, which was about 18 months before I was born, and I could warn my father that, hey, this team's going to leave, which actually maybe he saw it coming. You're going to get an expansion team. You will never see a Minnesota hockey team get back here. And the state of Florida, who at the time doesn't have any franchise in the NHL, is going to win 5 Stanley Cups in the next millennium.
Yeah, when were the Lightning brought in?
95?
Because Panthers were 93.
Yeah, it might have been. No, I think it was before that. Hold on a second here. I'll look.
Did they bring him in at the same time?
No. They brought in like 4 teams, but they staggered how they brought him in. I think they brought him in as pairs of 2s. Founded in 1992.
Oh, 92.
Wow. So yes, but the point stands.
It's right after.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're basically as old as you are, Dex.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, in the NBA and in the National Hockey League, the only time a championship trophy has been in the building in this state was that Pittsburgh won it in Game 6, because the Islanders beat the North Stars in Game 5 in New York, and of course there has not been an NBA championship since the Lakers here. So I guess back then, but yeah, no, it's remarkable.
But hey, state of hockey. State of hockey, everyone.
Back then, in basketball.
Like what was it? What was it?
A peach basket. No, I don't know what it was.
Like when the Lakers won the championship here, what did they get at the time?
Let me see here. History of NBA Finals trophy.
The LOB.
So there is a Wikipedia page devoted to the LOB. 1977 was the first year of it.
Oh, okay. So there was no trophy necessarily.
Well, there's definitely a trophy of some kind, right? Oh, I also do some digging. Maybe Dex can look that up for us.
I'll look that up for you.
Oh. No, the LOB started in 77, apparently.
Yeah, so. But it wasn't but it was just probably a generic name at the time, because I believe Larry O'Brien was the commissioner before David Stern, and I believe the trophy was named after him after Larry O'Brien passed.
Oh, here we go. Okay. The Walter A. Brown Trophy was the trophy awarded to the NBA team who won the finals at the conclusion of each NBA season from 1949 to 1976.
Okay, we had that one.
And it looked like a gigantic old chalice, basically.
So like a copy of the Stanley Cup, but it was small?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not like in a position to pop this up on the screen, but if you Google the Walter A. Brown Championship Trophy.
Okay, I'm going to do that right
now. It's like a miniature, I don't know, like scrunched version of the Stanley, it's kind of like the Stanley Cup, but not really. It's not quite as iconic as the LOB.
So the question is, where is that trophy now? That's the question. The founder of the Boston Celtics, by the way, Walter A. Brown.
Have to check that out. All right. Those are your write that down predictions here. Some life trivia, some life advice. Mackey and Judd. See you guys tomorrow.
Ugly.